What is up out there, everybody in Swing Collective Nation? We all in the Swing Collective. This is episode 16. You got the Birdman with you. Izzy's with you. Buddy, we got a skeleton crew. Where is
Yeah,
everybody this week?
busy, man. Summers are busy.
That's
Everyone's
right.
out of school. You got kids. You got after school or you got extracurricular activities. Busy.
A little bit of everything. I tell you, man, summer is upon us. You're right, but Mrs. Byrd is a public school teacher, and she is on a countdown of a different sort, and it is not a pleasant one. Uh, I reminded her that last night that 1 week from today, I'll be on a trip that we'll talk about in a second. 2 weeks from today, this was last night, I'll be back from said trip, and 3 weeks from today, you'll be back at work. It didn't go over real well, man. She wasn't feeling it. It was
No,
I don't think she appreciated my poor attempt at humor, but you're
just to go
right,
back
brother.
to the demons.
It's busy. Speaking about work, man, what's your hotel points situation looking like? Are you emerald, diamond, encrusted, platinum,
Uh,
unicorn status at this point?
just about. I may actually get my ambassador status back with Marriott this year.
Right.
I
That's
lost
great.
it about 2 months ago, and
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I've just about earned it back. I mean, this will be. Let's see. I'll have to look it up, but I think I've probably stayed 60 nights this year, maybe a little bit more, and I've got another week and then 2 weeks after my trip coming up. That's
Yeah.
in the schedule, and that's before hurricane season. So
I hear you, brother. Well, the only person that travels more than you is Joel Damon, who seems to be at every tournament. Joel Damon's the guy, and I love Joel Damon. Everybody loves him from Full Swing. But I feel like Joel Damon is the guy that if the PGA had a convention, he's the guy working the table 30 years from now, signing things for people for $20.
yeah, yeah,
He's at every tournament, man. But I know you know all about being a road warrior. My my work, I used to travel a lot more than I do now, but we're about to get out here and there in about a month. So
okay,
uh, I won't have ambassador status. What they'll give me is they'll be friends of ambassador because I'm a friend of Izzy's, right? So a friend of ambassador status, and I don't like to brag, but what that gets me is free water out of the fountain, and I get towels in my room. So
that's pretty sweet. They don't always do that.
yeah, friends of ambassador, man. That's it. But I know knows at work. Uh, Ando had a commitment. He's getting ready for member guest tournament at his club that he's down for. He's going to win that sucker, man. So he'll be telling us about that soon.
What
And
that'll be number 5 added to the collective's trophy.
could be. And Be Smooth
All
is
Chris. I mean, all Ando.
yeah. Be Smooth is out there doing Be Smooth things. So we'll all get back together at some point, man. But uh, so the dumbest question in the world, but I would ask you, how's your game? So have you been doing anything, or are you working out in the gym, kind of preparing for when you get back out on the course? Anything at all?
Working out in the gym, and again, like I mentioned last week, the VR golf is from a swinging, like a full swing perspective. It's not that great. You can kind of cheat the game to hit better than you probably would in real life, and the ball always goes a certain distance, and it's all based off of how fast you swing and not how you swing. But the putting, I just found out yesterday when I was playing around with the settings, you can actually change the stint level on the greens, and it goes
Nice.
from like 8.5 all the way up to like 15. And I tried it on 15, and it was insane.
I bet.
Oh my god, it was impossible to hit a putt. They just kept going. I mean, I was tapping them, and they were flying. So I don't know how accurate that would be, but the practicing the stroke, it's the same movement. It registers very similarly. So, I can rehearse my putting system in VR golf. And so that's been my practice. And
All right.
look, I have a feeling when I come back that my putting will be better. Maybe we'll see. You'll
All
know in
right.
the video that I record.
We heard it here first, everybody. Izzy says he will be a master putter when he gets back on the course. That's what
Master
we'll say.
putter. What about you? I heard you went to the range today and had
Yeah,
mixed results.
yeah, man. I forgot my shoes. I forgot
That's
my
a
shoes.
problem.
So yeah, yeah. So I forgot my shoes. I realized it when I was pulling into the parking lot. So I had some slip-ons. I don't like to brag, but I got them from Timu. So that tells you about all the quality that you need to know about these. So that's all I had. So that's what I hit in, and I just couldn't get settled. Um, I was all over the place, but I feel like, certainly thinking about the lack of stability in these $7 slip-ons, was probably difficult, and I just couldn't get comfortable. Y'all know what I mean out there. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and YouTube, you know how you got to feel comfortable in your swing. You got to own it. I was real skittish, but brother, uh, I will tell you this for our listeners, you've already heard it in our group text that we have going on, but I played at least the 9 of my life Sunday night. So three
Hmm.
three nights ago, as we recorded this. Um, Score wise, was not my lowest score ever on a 9. It was a 40, which 5 over because par's 35 on the front 9 at Blue Hills where we play the most. Um, I had a lip out, literally a Grant Horvat lip out for a 39 to finish. Um, but here are the takeaways from the round, and I am super stoked. First off, the +5, nothing over a bogey, so no doubles, no triples, nothing. Just a straight 4 par 5 bogey round. So that was good. I don't know when that's ever happened. Zero three putts, zero three putts.
Okay.
And the second putt was I had a one putt on a hole. The had 17 putts. The other 8 holes were all two putts, and none of them were over 2 feet. So essentially, no stress on the second putt, which was nice.
Your
And
lag putting was on point.
yeah, and this is kind of glass half full, half empty, depending on how you want to look at it. 7 putts for birdie or par, made zero of them, all of them inside of 20 feet. So the approach game was on, and if I could have converted, 3 or 4 of those, I would have been basically real close to scratch for the 9. It was nice.
Wow.
So I had a birdie or par putt on every hole except 2, and one of them was the one putt hole where I rolled in a 15-footer for bogey, and so that
Oh,
worked
I
out.
bet that felt so good.
Yeah, it
That's
was
almost
nice.
better. That's almost better than birdieing. I mean,
Yeah, and it
to
was,
save the hole.
and you know the front 9 very well, and it was a traditional front 9 because my wife was with me, so we rode versus walk, and then we do the walk back like we do.
Hmm.
Um, it was, so the 15-foot putt for bogey was on the par 5, and decent drive down there in the trees on the left where I can be. Went to hit a punch under a branch, and it was inches from being perfect. Hit the branch and fell down. So then third shot uh, got me up to within a short pitch, messed up the pitch, and chipped on for 5 and made the putt for 6. So really, that hole could have been a lot better had I not had the tree trouble.
Hmm.
But of the other 8 holes, 7 of them had a birdie putt or a par putt that I didn't make and converted the subsequent par or bogey. So man, I'm thinking that round could have been scratch. I mean, that 9 could have been scratch right at it. So um, good things are happening. I won't bore you with all the mechanics, but my wife took a lesson, and actually she said, "Here's what I learned today," and she started telling me about it. And I'm thinking, hmm, I need to work on a couple of those things, which is what I've done. So that lesson has paid off for both of us. I'm really
Twice.
excited.
You got 2 for 1.
Really, I'm really excited to get back out there and play some more. The range today, notwithstanding, because of my feet, but I want to at least try to play this weekend, and then uh, I head out on a trip. I know you head out on a trip as well, man. So tell me about the trip you are counting down for.
I will give. So I did actually swing a club the other day. We one of the contractors we're working with is a company we do a lot of work with. So we're real close with their guys, and we all went out to dinner together at a place called Tea Time, which is basically Top Golf, but a little bit different. Almost the exact same. It's the exact same thing, just a different company. And that was the first time I swung a golf club in a month, and
That's so good. I
I
love
I was hitting fine. I didn't feel like I hit a single bad, and obviously I wasn't playing golf. We were long driving, or we played Angry Birds, so I was trying to hit punches to hit where
Right.
the dynamite is, or we were aiming for a colored flag. But every shot went and did what I wanted it to. Basically, they weren't all perfect, but I had a couple miss hits where they were a little thin, but the ball went straight, and it was just a little short of the distance I was looking for. But my drives, I was hitting these little baby cuts every drive, right up the middle. All my short game shots were doing exactly what I want. I don't think I hit a bad shot all evening. Now,
it. Awesome.
I had two drinks, and not strong drinks. So maybe I was relaxed
Yeah.
and having a good time, and maybe that helped. But um, my somewhat fading confidence from the last month of not having touched a club
Right.
has been boosted, and so I'm going to try and go again before this trip's over, because that's the only practice I'm going to get. Um,
Yeah. Probably nice to get out with all the work you guys have been doing. Probably nice to do something fun, right?
and there was one guy there who works for this company, and he's 5'8", not a big dude,
Yeah.
but he played baseball, and his swing was like John Rahm's, but goes back further. And
Yeah.
he was smoking the golf ball. I mean, at the top of his swing, his wrists were cupped, and then it came down and around. I was like, dude, you have to show me how to do this. I do not know. That's If there's one flaw with my swing that I desperately want to fix, is its hip activation. I
Yeah.
feel like I can't get my hips in front of my arms and follow through. So I'm going to convince everybody to go back, and I'm going to show me this. But moving on, the trip I'm
That's
going
awesome.
on, going to Portugal, taking my wife. She's about to finish her last semester of her didactic year of schooling she's in, and a much deserved and much needed vacation. Actually, a new update on that. My oldest sister, who lives in Germany, who I haven't seen in many, many months, is going to meet us
Ah,
at our last stop for a few days. So, really looking forward to that. In the mid part, we're staying at a place just north of Lisbon. We're going to Portugal, and I'm going to play two courses. I'm playing Praia del Rey, and I'm playing the West Cliffs, both of which are on the coast, both of which are stunning. And I'm going to try and film at least one of them, hopefully both. And I'm pretty excited, man.
that's awesome, man. And Noah and I talk a lot about trips and places we want to play. We're getting ready to embark on a trip ourselves. I'll tell you about in a second, but the next one up for him, he said, "Man, we have got to go play in Portugal." And I don't want to sound like cliche or I'm like everybody else in the world. I'm like, dude, the next one's got to be Scotland, which this one was supposed to be Scotland, and just from a cost perspective, and we started planning it so late. You know what you got to do to get the courses in Scotland. We didn't get there, so we fell back to the trip we're about to take. I'll tell you about. Tell everybody about. You know about it. But he's like, man, we got to go to Portugal next. So the golf is supposed to be epic. He knows a guy that just got back from there and played. I don't know which courses, but I have a sneaky suspicion that you are about to play some two of the finest courses you've ever played in your life, man. So very very
I'm,
anxious to hear if they live up to that billing. So hopefully I'm not overselling it,
I'm
but
very excited. I've played international golf once in Mexico,
yeah,
and it was awesome.
that's great. I've played a couple rounds in the Caribbean, St. Lucia and the
Okay,
Bahamas.
yeah,
Neither one, known for their vibrant golf scene, but it was just something about, man, I'm on this island. It's an amazing trip. I'm out here playing golf, man. So you got to do it when you travel and
Yes, man. It's like
love this addiction. But well, man, I won't quite pass you coming across the Atlantic. I'll be here home a couple days before you leave, but we're heading to Ireland in T minus 4 days now, and we'll be in the air. At this time, we will be boarding the flight in 96 hours, heading over there to play 4 rounds, really 4.5 rounds. We're playing near the Portmarnock Resort. We're playing Portmarnock. We're
okay.
also playing the Jameson Links, that the Jameson family. Y'all might know the Jameson family. That had something to do with a little Irish whiskey. Maybe you've heard of it.
Uh,
So there's a course there named after the ancestral land. I think there's still a family graveyard on the property. Uh,
wow.
so so we're playing the Jameson Links, which is doesn't have the history that some of these other courses. It's only been around like 30 years, but highly rated. We're playing Portmarnock, which is pretty epic. We're playing Royal Dublin, and we're playing the Island. So three highly rated courses. Jameson, of course, might have the best reviews of all of them, just not the history.
Yeah.
And man, that we're ready to go. And that half round, one day after we're done, the day after we're done playing golf, we're stopped 2 or 3 days. We're going to be tourists and see different things. We're going over to the Cliffs of Moher, and on the way, we're going to go through Doolin, and there's a pretty iconic pitch and putt course there, Doolin Pitch and Putt. 18 holes, none of them over like 65 yards, with a view of the cliffs
Oh,
and the Atlantic. So got to do that while we're there. But we have a little competition between us that stretches out through the years. I'm the reigning champ from last year. He had it for the few years before that. So I'm looking to keep it. He's looking to take it from me. So we'll do a little match play when we're over there. Like you, we're going to try to document as much as possible. So hopefully we'll have some good content to share for our folks here in the Swing Collective, man. Really looking forward to it. So that's
well,
great.
next topic is going to be the Open. But before we do that, we have to talk about the yearly tradition of being rejected by the Masters to attend their tournament. I have
Yes.
been rejected again.
Yes. I am RSVP non grata. I got my sad email this morning.
I
So,
didn't get an email. My brother got one, and my buddy that like we had a group of three that we'd play
yeah.
golf with when I was in Louisiana. He got one, and I was like, I haven't been rejected yet. So I started to get a little bit of hope. I shouldn't have done
Right.
that.
Now you
And,
should just
and
all you
then
got to do is log
I
in.
logged into the website and I checked, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Unfortunately, we don't like you, and you're not
Yeah.
special."
Yeah. You are not the guy. Right. So then I put it on my socials, that, 2026, another dark year. We'll hope for 2027. And then I had one of my friends go, dude, I'm 0 for 23. I was like, I did not need to hear that trash.
Oh gosh.
So, man, I don't know. But like I think we've talked about it on previous episodes, I won't wear a hat. I won't wear a shirt. I won't have a single piece of Masters swag in this house. I do have a hat that a friend got me at last year's Masters. That's great. I can't wear it now, so it'll stay buried in the closet until I get there, man. So if there are any friends of the collective that have some tickets, I know some guys that'll go with you. Uh, you can even be a guest on the show. Come
Yeah,
on,
that's a great trade. I think that's a pretty good trade, right?
I think it's a great trade because you're getting into the ground level of a tremendous opportunity.
That's right.
We have tens and tens of listeners, and that's only going to go up. But it stings, right? I don't know about you. I never expect to get good news from that, but I was hopeful, that
Hopeful.
maybe this is the year.
I didn't expect this year either until my brother and friend got their rejections and I didn't, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait a second, I have a
Same
little
thing
bit of
happened
hope."
to me, and I just logged in and saw it, and I got the email the next day. So apparently, they didn't want to go to email jail for sending out too many Dear John letters. So I was at the second wave, but I do have a the aforementioned friend that went this year. He was a guest of yet another friend of ours that we know through work. So, what I am hoping is that next year, when they are looking for friends at work to hang out with for a day, just a day, give me a call. I'll go. I I will have the truck charged up, ready to point it south. I need no notice. Right. So, but it's tough, man. We'll get there. Hopefully sooner rather than later, when we can actually get around and uh, and enjoy
I,
ourselves. And
I believe.
yeah, and hopefully when Mr. Scheffler is still winning majors at the clip at which he is winning them, which is every other one now. It feels like, at least this year it was. Uh, Obviously, going to be in Ireland, not going to uh, at Portrush. Going to go to Belfast one day when we're up north playing, but not going to get to Portrush where the greens fees are modest compared to some other places in the area. So I'm kind of sad we aren't getting to Portrush. Uh, but what was your biggest takeaway, man? You want to start with Scotty, or was something else on your mind?
So there was a couple things. One, Bryson's performance was a little disappointing.
Right.
I that for, let me grain of salt. Round one was disappointing. Round
Exactly.
two, I mean, imagine going up seven, and then having a 6 under round the following. Like, I mean, just the
Yeah.
mental fortitude that took to just stay in it. And I don't recall what he finished, what spot he finished in, but you know, the way he played the way he played Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If he doesn't have that Thursday score, he's in contention, I believe.
Well, you're right. He finished tied for ninth, 10th, tied for 10th at 9 under. And,
Yeah,
he was 7 over the first day. So if he just could have shot even par, that puts him,
tied.
theoretically one stroke out of the lead. Chef was 17 under. But, that it's not apples to apples, man. If he's there and he's on Scheffler's hip pocket, Friday, Saturday into Sunday, things could be different. Um, so that is disappointing. His Thursday was disappointing. Uh, we did our last show the evening after the first round,
Yeah.
and I made the comment that maybe his YouTube channel is edited, because how can he play so well and then have such a bad round? Following it up with what happened at Oakmont and everything, and I wasn't being tongue in cheek, but I wasn't seriously levying
Yeah.
an accusation. Really, I was just disappointed because I like Bryson. I wanted to see him do better. I like when he contends. Um,
Hmm.
but he put all that to rest. He must be listening to the collective. So hey, Bryson, you come on whenever you want, brother. This floor is yours, and we are not gotcha journalists here. We'd love to talk
Open
to you.
invitation.
Yeah. So he must have listened to us like, I'll show you edited content. And he goes 6 under, 9 under, and I had 1 under in there somewhere. I guess 1 under on Saturday. So
Yeah.
it was pretty amazing. I'm disappointed because I like him too. I
Yeah.
think he's great for the game. Um, I tell you, man, what we need to find out, and is Chris Goderup just good at links courses in Europe, or is he the next big thing, man? Because to win the Scottish, going toe to toe with Rory, I thought took brass cojones.
Oh yeah.
And there was a minute where it looked like he was going to finish in second. He finished in third, one stroke behind Harris English. But in a world right after Chef double bogey on that hole on Sunday, there's a world in which Goderup gets into contention if Scheffler wasn't Scottie Scheffler and just
Yeah.
slammed the door on everybody.
Yeah. He double bogeys and then just doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter, and I guess that's kind of where I wanted to start my comments was,
Hmm.
I thought you and I and Ando had a pretty uh, spirited discussion about the comments that Chef made last week. I don't know if he goes by Chef or we're coining that on the Swing Collective, but either way, he's Chef around here, man, because he's cooking on the course. Uh,
And at home apparently. And
Yes, still make that's a good one. I like that. But I want to walk back the statement that I made last week and look at it, I think, in a little more of a global context. I
Hmm.
don't know if you saw his interview post win on Sunday. Probably wasn't right
Yeah.
after, though it might have been. I didn't see it until Monday, and you kind of do the car wash right after the rounds. He was talking to a lot of different places, and he made the comment, which I felt I kind of put myself under conviction a little bit when he said, um, "Yeah, I think kind of what I said on Wednesday was taken out of context and put into a soundbite." And I was like, man, how many times have I reminded myself, you got to listen to the whole thing? You got to watch out for, the condensing of comments, the AI that's out there, a lot of different things. Make sure you trust your sources. So had I listened to it all the way through instead of again kind of focusing on those sound bites, probably would not have been so harsh on it. That's on me. But for him to say it's just like this is never going to define me as a person. I'll never. He mentioned golf as a living several times. He said, if the only reason I'm doing this is to make a living and to, you know, stack a legacy, I'll quit tomorrow. It'll be the last day I play because what's the point? And when I listen to it like that, I I softened my stance, and I thought it was really interesting. I want to get your take on this. It, Maybe you didn't pay attention to it like I did. It's fine, but he makes the winning putt on Sunday. It was a cleanup putt, and he almost looked. I'm sure he was relieved. I'm sure he was happy, but he almost looked like he just took this ragged breath, had bent down and picked up the ball. Like, I know what happens next. I got to do all the interviews and I got to do all the pictures and everything. And he hugs, Ted Scott, and he says farewell to Hung Tao Lee. And I think they had a pretty good rapport going through the round, which was neat to watch. And his caddy, and he's just kind of slumping. You know how he is, man. Those shoulders will slump a little bit. He's just kind of walking along. Not a whole lot going on in the way of wearing his emotion until he saw his wife and son, and then arms go up, and man, he is happy, and it looked legitimate. So when I go back and kind of put all of that in a blender and kind of like look at it, I think, all right, man, like this is just a dude that's got his priorities aligned in a pretty healthy way. And what he was telling us was if it ever gets to the point where I'm doing this golf thing strictly to make myself happy, I know I'll never get there. What's the point? And I checked myself and maybe I like him more now than ever. And I think I got it, just speaking for myself, not you and Ando. I got it totally wrong. Do you feel similarly, or you staying with what you had last week? I'm curious.
So I'll start from where you started. The interview that he did last week, you said you focused on a sound bite and kind of, it was a 5 minute video that I watched of him speaking. It wasn't a comment he made that was taken out. I watched the whole thing, and I felt what I said last week, that, um, you know, it did seem like, not that he doesn't care. He obviously cares. Nobody puts in as much work as he does if they don't care. And
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, the point that this isn't what defines him and his life and where he finds the greatest joy in his life. Um, the what's the point? It doesn't matter. I still feel like, I kind of made me not want to root for him as much, because I want the guy who cares so much about this to win, because that's who's going to throw their club and drop to the ground and start crying like Rory did at the Masters. He wanted that so badly, and it finally happened. And it was like, I almost started crying watching that. I felt something when I watched that. I didn't really feel anything when I watched Scottie win the Open.
Right.
I was like, okay, that was kind of anticlimactic. But, and I mentioned this last week, he's 29. Um, and when someone asks you a question off the cuff, especially one like that, um, it's kind of hard to get exactly how you feel into words on the spot. And I think he just did a bad job of explaining how he felt. And after receiving the backlash that he did receive and having a week to think about it, when it came up again, I think he did a better job this week of reiterating and clearing up what he meant. And I think that he did a much better job. And I definitely see what he means. And then I agree with you. I saw the same thing when he hit that putt. I didn't necessarily see the okay, here we go with, I didn't quite see that, but I 100% noticed that after the handshakes and the hugs on the green, he turned around, he sees his wife and his son, and he's fired up right there.
Right.
And I'm like, that's what most other players do when they make the putt. And he didn't feel that way. He didn't, at least maybe he felt it. He didn't express that until he turned and saw his family. And
Right.
so what that tells me is he competes in the game of golf, not for the game of golf, but for his family. And when he, when you win something or you do something amazing, it's so much better when you get to celebrate it with someone, with
For
somebody
sure.
else.
For
And
sure.
that's what I think he plays golf, and he's turned to his wife, and she's like, "I'm so proud of you," and he's just like, "That's what I do it for."
That's
Right?
it.
That's what I got out of it. And again, I think I do. I think my opinion on whether or not I want to root for him has changed. Towards, yeah, I'd like him to win. I also would like him to win because I was looking up his stats, and though he had a slow year, the last 11 tournaments he has placed top 10.
Yeah.
And of those top tens, he was top five at six of them. And of those top fives, he won four.
Yeah.
He is on a roll right now.
Right.
And I don't
Well,
see him slowing down. I think he's got a couple more before the year ends. And if he does, he is barking up the tree that he already climbed last year.
it's amazing, dude, because he's won $90 million on the PGA Tour, and that places him third all time. That's not fair to say he's third. We're not grossing up Palmer, Nicholas, those guys, and
Yeah, is
counting.
that third with inflation?
It's not. It's third. And but if he won the FedEx Cup this year, he'll get the second, and next year first would be a formality at the way he's going. So it's just amazing. And I don't know how you want to say it. There are friends of mine that say the Tiger comparisons are fair. And one guy that I know I saw at work this week who said, Tiger versus Scottie in their primes, maybe I take Scottie. And I think it would cause a lot of us to pump the brakes. But Tiger had the career Grand Slam at 24, but he got started earlier than Scottie did. Scottie took a little bit of a long way, especially to kind of get where he's at. When you look at the FedEx standings, Xander Schauffele, not FedEx, sorry, the Ryder Cup standings. Xander Schauffele's in second place with 13,300 Ryder Cup points. 13-3. Scottie's in first with 32,000. So it's like this guy's on a different planet than everyone else. And with that comes all the other stuff. And it's cool to me that he through it all he's been able to stay grounded, and he's focused on the things that's made him happy, and that's good. Something you said uh, that I want to kind of go back to, and not to argue at all, but I want somebody that cares that much about it. I don't know if I want to root for somebody that doesn't care, or something like that, or doesn't care as much, but that's really been on my mind this week, and I'll tell you why in a second. But it's just the whole like uh, we think that, damn it, Scotty, you should care more, because if I was in that role, I'm not speaking for you, but a lot of people, if I was there and I had a putt to win the Open and I got it, you'd be lucky if my clothes stay on. I'm going to run around, like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights when he thought he was on fire or something. I don't know, but I would be absolutely just elation doesn't begin to cover it. And maybe we would for a while, and maybe it would get old, or maybe we would focus on our significant others. It's tough to say, but it's the same kind of thing that I was thinking about this week. Another YouTube golf channel. If you're not watching Swing Collective, you're probably watching Mr. Short Game. Mr. Short Game puts on a hell of a channel, two channels. One of his channels is a short podcast where he'll take a topic and kind of talk through it, and it's primo content. And he was talking about Grant Horvat, probably the YouTube golfer right now, not going to the PGA Barracuda that we had this past weekend, and he did not accept their invitation. And Grant is getting, by all accounts, pole waxed on social media and his channel. People are lambasting him for not accepting the PGA invite. Now, according to Grant, he said, I want to be able to record my game, my swings for my channel, and PGA told him he can't do that due to copyright issues. Well, then I'm not coming. And I don't know if that was the real reason or that's the reason why he used, but he probably got roundly criticized for not playing. And Mr. Short Game, this is his response. I wish I could take it. I agree with it 100%. We got this from Mr. Short Game. But he's getting lambasted because that's your Mr. Viewer that's giving Grant Horvat the business. That's your priority. You want to go on the PGA Tour and you want to try to win a tournament. Maybe that's not Grant Horvat's priority. Maybe his priority is his channel, his content. Some people said he's worried that he'll miss the cut, or he's worried he won't measure up. Maybe that wasn't it at all, man. Maybe it was just the fact that he doesn't really care about the PGA Tour because his priority is his channel content, his legacy, what he's doing there. So why are we criticizing him for not wanting what we would want? And I feel like when I apply that lens to Scheffler, I'm like, ooh, am I not doing the same thing? And you need to be happier that you won two majors this year. Why? Why?
No.
Because that's not what makes me happy. Who are you? Who are you to tell me what makes me happy? And it's a good point. Do I think I would be happy? Hell yes, I would, but not at the expense of my family and the people that I love. I would, like you said, I want to enjoy it with them,
Yeah.
and enjoy it all. But if I didn't, and I had to pick one, or one made me happy, another didn't, well, that's not for you to say. That's for me to say. So I kind of checked myself on that. I hope that he continues to rewrite the record books. I'll be looking for him to do well in the FedEx Cup. Sure as heck want him to do well at Bethpage as we take the Ryder Cup back. But, he's all right. I think he's probably got it figured out.
I think that he will. I think, we talked about it earlier in the year, his slow start to the year. I attributed to his injury, which I felt stopped him from practicing as much as he normally would. And when you don't practice, regardless of the reason, your ability and your skills tend to fall off a little bit. I think that they did. And as soon as his hand was healed fully and he was able to get back into his routine, you can see the stats and his placings at the last 11 tournaments that he's,
they speak for themselves.
Not even the last 11. You go back past that, and he's still got another top 3, a top 11, a top 9. His lowest placing of the year was a top 25 at the Phoenix Open, and
that was early.
Yeah, that was the second tournament of the season that he played.
Yeah, February, I think. Right, it's usually right around the Super Bowl.
Yeah, February 9th.
Yeah. So,
but I expect him to continue with the momentum that he's got. And, I hope he wins another couple tournaments. I like you said, his opening up about his feelings, it created waves, and I think he did a good job of clarifying what he meant. And I'm back on Team Scheffler.
And next year we'll be back on Grand Slam watch as we go to the U.S. Open to see if he can close it out and get his Grand Slam one. I'll be there for it. I won't be there for it. Maybe I will. It's in Marion.
Maybe. Hey,
it's not far away. It's in the Philly area. We could probably go if we want.
Yeah.
It's right up the road.
Was it 6 hours max?
It's like max. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, 7 if they're not arresting number one golfers which I
what what was
EPA.
the stat that I saw that Scottie Scheffler's won 50% of all majors? No, he's won every major he's attended since being arrested since hitting a golf.
Okay, that's pretty damn good. Well, man,
Uh,
um, and looking at the leaderboard, take Scheffler off of it for a second.
yeah,
Because he is on a different planet. Damn, that leaderboard was tight. If you take him off, Harris English wins by 1 over Goderup, but log jam, and obviously things could have been a lot different. I'm not suggesting it would have ended this way, but what was this 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 golfers within 2 shots with names like Fitzpatrick, Wyndham Clark, Sandra Shoffley,
mhm.
McIntyre, McIlroy, Brian Harmon, and DeChambeau, all within 2 shots of each other. Harris English just one a couple above them. So take Scheffler out of the Open. Damn it, Scotty, it would have been a barn burner that we would have got to watch had you not ran away with it. A lot of people right there at the top that you would expect.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, seeing someone dominate so much, I mean, it is a little reminiscent of Tiger. But we spoke about this earlier. You said you heard someone was describing the difference between Scotty and Tiger, and I read something the other day on Reddit where you were saying that if you had to pick Scotty in his prime and Tiger in his prime, you'd probably take Scotty, and that might turn a lot of heads. But in reality, Tiger Woods was the greatest scrambler in existence. The
Yeah.
difference between Scotty and Tiger, I think, from what I've seen so far, is that Tiger would go for these shots that may not pan out very well for him. The thing about him is that he somehow always found a way to recover.
Yeah.
Scotty never puts himself in that situation.
Right.
That's why it's boring golf, because there's no, you're not trying to hit a cut over a tree over water and land it in a back tucked pin, with a 2 iron. Like Scotty would never play that shot
Right.
ever.
Right.
Um, but that's what was so incredible about Tiger, is that he'd go for it and he'd pull it off a significant amount of time. But that's the main difference I see. The level of dominance that Scotty's showing is boring because he plays so safely. He always, I'm getting in the fairway, I'm aiming for the fat part of the green. If I'm not 100% confident, I'm two putting. There's my par, done on a par 4. And then if he putts really well, he makes the birdie. And if he's just not getting bogeys. He just doesn't bogey. And him double bogeying, I don't remember the last time I watched him double bogey anything.
Right.
It's been
And,
so
and,
long.
and then he bounced back. And he is the best at bouncing back after, a hole that he bogeys
Yeah.
or the occasional double bogey. And what you say is, man, it's spot on. It got me thinking, Noah and I watched it together Sunday. And what I've done historically is get the breakfast menu together because the guys are teeing off at 10 o'clock. Uh, we got a little bit of a late start and we had to watch it, a couple hours delayed. So we cooked. We made some wings. My wings were on fleek. Man, it was unbelievable. Made some homemade chips to go with them. It was epic. And we sat down to watch it, and we get 3 holes in, and Scotty's opened up the lead. And when the lead was 5, we were like, okay, well, we know he's not giving this up because it is boring, So we watched it until I think he played the par 5 on the back, so 12. I just wanted to see what he did with it. And then we started watching videos on Ireland, figuring out, where we're going to go next week. Because it is boring golf. And when he has the lead, it's over. But what you said, man, and it was a light bulb moment. Eventually, we're going to see Scotty in a dogfight. And we've seen him trying to contend, like at the Masters this year and some other places. And you're right. His brand of golf is boring. Also, he doesn't seem to have the hero shot that puts him back in the lead of a major. So when he has to play from behind, and we will see it eventually, but when he's been at least in the group, a couple shots off, 3 shots off, he tends to fade because he doesn't have that step on your neck moment like Phil had out of the pond straw at Augusta, or Bubba, or Rory. they've all had that signature moment where they took the tournament. I don't know that Scotty has that. His taking of the tournament happens for days,
Yeah.
before you get to Sunday. So
I'll say I have seen him surge from behind, but it's always on Friday.
yeah, right.
Always, he has a tough Thursday. He comes out crazy on Friday, reclaims the leader as close, and then he plays perfect boring golf Saturday and Sunday, and he wins. I
Yeah,
haven't quite seen, and collective, correct me if I'm wrong, comment, let me know, that he's been behind on Saturday and Sunday a lot and roared back into the win. I don't think I've ever seen that from him.
I
He's either
think.
in the lead and wins, or he's not and he doesn't.
Yeah, I have nothing to contradict that statement. Y'all comment if you do and prove us wrong. We'll bring on a
Yeah.
show next time and you
Yeah,
talk
yeah. Well,
point a collective, right? But it seems to me like maybe he won a tournament coming out of nowhere on Sunday and this year, not out of nowhere, but he was on the leaderboard, but he took control Sunday, and maybe not. Now, I will say it seems to me he won the gold medal at last year's Olympics. He was not in the lead. He took that at the end, which was nice to see. That might be the only example I know of. He's probably better known for losing two out of the three FedEx Cups that he went in with the lead, and he squandered two of them before this year. And this year, it got a little dicey there for a minute before he, kind of stomped on the gas. But we'll see it eventually. He'll have to have that moment where he takes charge, and maybe he will, but maybe he won't. Because your point's well taken. I've talked to my wife about that last year, kind of when he was on that surge, very reminiscent of this year. I remember saying, "Oh man, you know, Scotty's only two strokes back after the first round. So you know what that means? He's got this tournament in the bag, because he will come and get you like Friday and Saturday unless you bury him early." And they didn't, and he won that tournament. It's almost like if he's anywhere close to the lead after rounds one or two, mark it down because it's
yeah,
hit.
yeah.
It's interesting. Well, man, there's a tournament this week, believe it or not. It's the 3M in Minnesota. They can start playing up north now that the summertime has hit. And I know, like you, looked at the entry list and were like, meh, it's the week after a major. A lot of guys are taking off. It's not a huge tournament. But you were able to kind of pull out a few names that we need to keep our eye on this week.
Yeah, so coming up, Ryder Cup into September, there's a couple guys who are outside of that top 12 who are playing this week, and they're close. And how they play over the next couple of weeks is going to decide whether or not they're going to be in the list of players to be picked. Wyndham Clark is close. Sam Burns is close. Chris Gotterup is a little bit further outside of that line than they are, but he's been on a heater lately. And if he can keep the momentum that he's got, I genuinely think that, he's moved up 21 spots in the last 2 weeks. He just is going crazy right now, and I'm all here for it. He seems like a great guy. He's playing good golf. Now
It's a mile.
he's
Yeah.
playing good golf at links courses. We're going to see how he fares here in the U.S. And I think that if he can keep his momentum, even if he's not winning tournaments, he's accumulating points, and that's going to move him up the board. And when someone's hot, they're hot, and you take them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like even if he's not quite in the top 12, if he's on a heater and he's still playing well and he's got the confidence and he just can keep the mental together and on that big of a stage, which he's playing on the PGA Tour and he's won tournaments, like he's going to have some
Right.
some nerves to he's got some nerve control, I should say. But again, it's the Ryder Cup. He'll be a rookie if it happens. So I'm watching those three guys. I'm watching Akshay Bhatia too, but that's more of a he's not that far out. He's 24th. So if he kind of goes crazy and he's got a month
Right.
and change.
Right. Well, the loyal listeners to the Swing Collective know that I need to practice my hot dog order for the next time that we play around because Mr. Tommy Fleetwood separated himself. It was tight there for a while. I'm like, come on, man. When is Tommy going to remind us that he's European? When is Akshay going to remind us that he's Akshay and gets a separation here? It took till Sunday, but I've got a hot dog in my future. If
You
y'all remember
do,
that
you
we made
do.
last week, so I'm looking forward
It
to
was
that.
a three. It was a three-shot
That's right.
um,
That's right. Man,
difference.
should have angled on a hot dog per stroke. Man, I could have got some fries, drink. It would have been awesome, dude. Anyway, yeah, we'll watch him. I think that's the only reason I'm watching the tournament
Yeah,
this week is I want to see how the Ryder Cup shakes out. What Burns is like 14th, 15th, something
yeah.
like that. Wyndham is one one behind him. I think they're both 15th and 16th or 14th and 15th. I can't remember. And Goderup has got it up.
15th and 16th, and
Okay,
Goderup is 22nd.
set 22nd, and he has a day this week, and he is within the the cone of possibility. And I agree with you, man. Even if he kind of stays where he's at, he would have to probably play a little better or a little show us a little more than he's shown us. I should say he's playing fine, but you also got to keep in mind it's not the top 12. It's the top six. The others you can be a little fluid. Ask Captain Johnson, who took Spieth and Thomas and Ricky to Dustin Johnson, some others. He went out of the top 12 to make some of these picks. I don't know. Uh, Cantlay is within the top 12 or just outside of it. I don't know if Hatgate was a thing, wasn't a thing. Depends on who you ask. Is he like off limits? Do you not pick him at all costs? We got to have a team in Bethpage, which I'll talk about in a second, man. It's something I saw. Um, and the captain himself is 10th. So, it all goes back, and we won't beat that dead horse just now, but, what does he do the rest of the way? Does he bypass himself to pick some others, which puts everybody outside of the top 12 one step closer as long as he's in it? It'll depend on, I guess, he's not going to play a lot until the FedEx Cup now. So, really, and that's everybody. It's going to come down to kind of the last three major tournaments,
Yeah,
the FedEx playoffs, and then they pick right after. So,
yeah.
um,
You've got this Open. You've got the Wyndham Championship. You've got the FedEx, BMW, and the Tour Championship.
yeah.
That's five tournaments.
So the Wyndham will be big.
Yeah,
A lot of Justin Thomas went there last year to try to, or 2 years ago to try to get into the FedEx Cup, and he missed it by a stroke. Um, so we'll see some people at the Wyndham for the reasons we just mentioned, trying to get into the FedEx Cup, also maybe trying to help the Ryder Cup standings, and then it'll be how do you do in those final three events. It'll be exciting. I hope we put the best team together. I love what I saw out of Bryson DeChambeau. I don't know if you saw it, but apparently Keegan Bradley doing Keegan Bradley things, and oh man, he has exceeded every expectation I had of what a captain needs to be. So man, I love what he's doing with the team. But apparently at Portrush, he put a note in all the Americans, whether they're going to be on the team or they're close. I don't know how deep it went, but he put some personalized notes in their lockers. Bryson mentioned it. Somebody asked him what it said. He said, "We're going to keep it private." It was a private message, and the reporter said, so he put a personal message in all your lockers. And Bryson was said, in a sense. So I don't know what that means. It's not for us to know what it means.
sure.
But what I liked was Bryson got real serious, and it almost looked like he was going to get emotional. And he said, it meant a lot to me. And then he got quiet and he said, this is no joke. We're going to Bethpage Black to win. And dude, I got chills watching the TikTok or wherever I saw it, because I love the fact that Keegs has got everybody taking this real serious. And it's double-edged sword, man. If they're that locked in and we don't win, I'm concerned. But I don't know, man. I love everything that he's doing, and to have everybody as locked in as possible to be on this team and treating it like it's business. Like we're
Yeah,
going to Bethpage to get our cup back. Dude, I love that. So Uh, I still, until somebody uh, proves to me different, I'll still say we're a better team with Keegan Bradley playing as well as being a captain. Um,
We talked about this last week, and you and I have talked about it offline a few
yeah,
times as well. I think you're right. I think having him play and him relying on, I think he's doing a lot of the team building and the connecting and
right.
the camaraderie building now. And I think that he focuses on playing and he relies on his vice captains to
Yeah.
kind of hold down the fort, as it were, while they're there. Uh, you know, and again, he's going to be in it too, and you can tell he wants it. You can tell everybody wants it. So we'll just have to see what happens in a month.
Well,
It's just a month and a day or two
I
when they
know it. Well,
announce, and then a month after that.
the last thing I'll say about it, and I'll leave it at this for me, unless you have something else you want to add. The the idea of being a captain, a playing captain, hasn't happened since '63 with Arnold Palmer. We know that, and somewhere I read or saw where someone said it's really tough. That's asking for a lot. I don't know that I believe that if you have the right vice captains, but also who am I to say if it must be difficult. Um, but you look at the list, okay, and you tell me on that list of the top 12 golfers, 15, doesn't matter, who is up for the task of being a playing captain. And the number one name on that list to me is Keegan Bradley.
Yeah,
The combination of how much it means to him, how smart he is, his experience, how well he's playing. There's nobody. If you told me you got to have a playing captain, who is it? Keegan Bradley.
yeah,
Keegan Bradley, and I don't have a second. So
I think you're right.
we'll see what happens, brother. Like it's something. But man, I hope that uh, you get to go knock down some more angry birds or whatever happens at that virtual top golf ish kind of place. It sounds phenomenal. If you can't play golf, at least play Angry Birds golf. I would do it. I swear I would do it. It's better than not swinging a club, and it sounds like you had fun and you like the way you're swinging, man. So that's awesome.
There is a course right next to, maybe 5 minutes from where we're working. But I mean, I'm getting out of there at 5 p.m. It's an hour drive back to the hotel.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if, and I'm wearing jeans. I'm just, I don't know if I have it to go play, but um, going and hitting some balls at a bay, relaxing,
Yeah.
having a good time. I think that's about as good a practice as I'm going to get, and I think that's the kind of practice I'm okay with right now. I mean,
That's it. Hey, if you're having fun swinging a club, man, my wife follows a group of female golfers out of Atlanta on TikTok, and they talk about, well, we don't care. We tee up the ball in the fairway. If we have a bad lie on a hill, we move the ball till we have a flat lie. If we three putt, we don't care. We're just out there to have fun. And I think that's probably the winning attitude right there is just go out there and have fun. If you're doing it in a bay or you're adjusting the rules, my wife's at a position now in her game. She's just starting to play. She's teeing up the ball, a little bit in the fairway. Now the club pro at Blue Hills told her to do it and said that's how you get better at it. So we've got permission from the head pro at our course to do that. And the main thing is we're having a hell of a lot of fun playing together. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
that's what it's about.
Well, man, I'm going to be away next week. So hopefully the rest of the collective will get on here and do something. I am going to be dropping some stuff on my socials, and I can put that, uh, I'll link that to this episode and what we have coming. Going to play some epic rounds, going to have hopefully some footage. I've got what I'm calling my Guinness goal. And every time I have a Guinness, it's going to go on the board. I've got a Guinness goal. Let's see if I hit it. That'll be on my socials if anybody's interested. And please like and subscribe. If it's your first time here, we're just a bunch of friends that love this game. We talk about our games and their games, and we'll talk about your games if you comment or you want to come on a show, drop us a line, man. You come out here and join us, man. The Swing Collective is just that. It's everybody's.
Yep.
We'd love to have you on here, man. So come on out. With that, brother, safe travels when you get back. And I'm sure I'll connect with you before uh, your trip. Probably connect when I'm on my trip. But looking forward to our paths crossing so we can get around in together hopefully in a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll get one in, and I want to try and film that one. That would be a lot of fun, and we can
That'd be
throw it
great. We'll make
put
it
it out
happen,
on
man.
YouTube.
We got the cameras and we'll get the footage, brother. I'll
All
talk to you
right.
soon.
Yep.
Collective out. Talk to y'all
See you
next time.
guys. See y'all next time.